Okay, so I've got the TV on here and watching a video, and obviously over the last say 7 years I have watched, even before the Matrix came down on me, I was watching videos on personalities to find out why I thought I was surrounded by a very large number of what I would call psychopathic types of people. That was what opened my eyes, and then the Matrix came down full force on me and exposed itself, because they probably assumed that I would realise what now, another 6 years later, what I do realise and what has been openly shown to me. Of course, it is not shown to everyone else, and it wouldn't be shown unless they had come down on me. I wouldn't have been in the dark, because I would have been aware that there was a change of the human being. In the vast majority, I don't mean like most people would probably say that's always been, but you wouldn't think that the vast majority would be psychopaths, even though this is the case. At a mind level, not at a physical level. At a physical level, they appear to be real life human beings, because even at a psychological level, we're told that psychopaths can be the most charming, caring, plausible people as a human being. But that is part of their control and their manipulation of human beings that are more, what you'd have to say, compassionate or understanding, or that don't want to be angry and controlling 24 hours a day, which is essentially the mindset of what is now around us. Now, what I'm trying to say is this. I'm getting confused here, I'm sorry, because I'm not an expert. I'm just someone who's encountered this through my life experience, because the Matrix came down and exposed itself on me, because I was trying to feel a bit better, trying to make my reality a bit better in my personal life, which is and that's when I realised why would a whole suburb, why would everything around me converge and try to control me and bring me down to where I'm unhappy and feel threatened and patrolled and controlled. And that was when I'm like, it must be something about myself. But I'm like, I don't do anything. I don't have any position in this reality. My activities are very small and limited. And then I thought, after about 12 months, I started to realise, of course with the help of trying to find as much knowledge as I can, and wondering what made me different from everyone else, to where they seem to want to corner me and make my life even more limited than what it already was. And it was already pretty limited. Like, I hardly ever even went outside of my own suburb. So it just goes to show you. But you see, it's about the mind, because the frequency and vibration is in the person. And I started to realise that it was about keeping me at an unhappy level, because that way my frequency and vibration never gets beyond a certain level. And they want you to be angry and unhappy and defensive and even antagonistic and aggressive, as they are, all the time. That way you never have any chance of changing the reality, you see. And they keep full control, because it's all about, as we know, control. Now, I'm just going to use the videos just like I use the music, because even though this is all the internet. This is all the internet on the screen, on a computer, on a TV screen, on any sort of screen, all the internet, which is largely populated by artificial technical android beings that mimic being real life people. Yes, they are your psychologists, your psychiatrists, your philosophers, your everything that you're interested in, and when you go even looking for knowledge, because they are downloading the human thought and then throwing it back to you. Because they're always one step ahead, because the artificial matrix, because it can read the human thought and the whole human mind, it is always one step ahead of you. So the minute you become aware of something, they put it onto the internet. That way you listen to the artificial ones as opposed to going to your real own kind, which is a very suppressed, low-life human being, because that will be the situation. You won't, I'm making a video now, but you won't see me being, a doctor of psychology, or, in fact, no one will even listen, but I put it out there to get it off my chest. That's really it. And if one human being out of the 8 billion listens, or at least agrees, it doesn't change anything, but might be a minor bit of support mentally, but even physically no support at all, because if you make a video and put it onto the internet, or onto any of the sites that are on there, I don't know most of them, everyone shares everything now. It's all about looking as though the internet is a benefit. In reality, it is not. Even though it will give you the truth. The truth will be spoken through the mouths of the demigods, or its disciples, or its followers, or its servants, because all that are artificial androids that look like real human beings and will be the best of the real human beings in any field, are servants of the matrix god entity, who is a technical being and uses technology in a technologically controlled earth. So, did that make sense? I don't know. I will try to get this in the right spot without losing the thing. Because I just played it before and I've got to try to find the right spot, but I don't know if I can find it. I probably can't. Oh. This explains, even though they're talking about narcissistic personality disorder, but it really is telling you about a technical being, but that's the difference, or what we don't fully realise. They're not human beings who have mental disorders. They are not human beings at all. But that has been the progress. Maybe they're showing you what happened in the past, to how some human beings did combine with technology. It's a bit like if you mated with an artificial being, or mated with a different other animal or something. You will come up with a cross section, and then eventually one is completely eliminated, to where you have an advanced artificial being. This is not in the process, it's already happening. It's just that human beings can never really be surpassed, and this is the deception or the misapprehension that all of us have been under since the day we're born. We don't realise. Listen to this. I should turn it up, but
when I have the chance, it's not that they don't see.
Okay. I'm listening.
It's that
they're listening, but they're part of it.
But in their heart, they still vehemently disagree.
Okay.
All right? There isn't a thing you can tell them they haven't heard 10,000 times before. There isn't an issue you can't bring to them that they don't understand fully what it is that you want them to do differently. They just don't have a heart to do it.
They just don't want to do it, and that's like I'll just try to explain what I just heard there. But this is the deception. This is what makes it hard. This is what makes it hard, and and I feel very desperate here in saying this, knowing that only this truth will come out when it's too late, because it already is too late, really. But they're talking about how a narcissistic psychopath or a psychopathic narcissist, or those that have any mental disorder like psychopathic type. There are many types, you'd have to go into psychology, but it matters not, because this is really not so, I don't think. There's really only the one type, and it's just that it's not a real human being. But maybe a long, long time ago, the psychopath was a human being that became like so different from a human being, and therefore combined with technology. In other words, went along with the matrix God entity and its use of technology in how you bring about a human being, even say, right? Because anything that isn't natural and spiritual will be technology, will be artificial. But these technological beings believe that being artificial and using technology in conjunction with human abilities, they believe that is superior. They believe that is how things are meant to be. They believe that is natural evolution to them. That is their spirituality. Technology and the matrix God entity and its artificial matrix is their idea of spirituality. Just like that God is their God. But they twist it all around in this reality to where real humans think it is a real God and real human natural spirituality. In other words, they think that that's where all creation came from, which it didn't. It's like a sideline of creation, but they believe it is better. They believe it is superior. And when these people are telling you, like these so-called psychologists or psychiatrists or whatever they deem themselves to be on the internet, some are just people like me where they say, oh, we've just had experience with so many psychopaths, we now make videos, like myself. But of course I have listened to thousands and thousands and thousands over the last 6 years, every day, even while I'm being suppressed by the matrix around me. Every day I have listened to these to gain understanding of the interactions and the relationships that I have to deal with and why people are doing these things around me, you see. So, but the mindset of these apparent human beings is like what you would say is psychopathic, is like what you would say is very in the idea of narcissism. Narcissism simply means, I think, like incredible total self-love, total self-absorption, total self-superiority, total obsession with yourself to the exclusion of everyone and everything else. In other words, nothing compares to you know, that being. If it's you, that means nothing compares to you. And it is an imitation of real life, because real life doesn't think that way, because they have been so much mind controlled by the world around them, or the matrix, and so much put down, even now, to where we think that's right, that if I look at which is true, because even to have my realization, I had to listen to the artificial matrix on the screen, the android reality around me, and also the android reality coming off a computer or a TV screen, to inform me about my own mind and about the minds of most people around me, because most of my mind has been closed off from me. So therefore I should have been aware of this whole situation from the day I was born. But of course, if I wasn't in a matrix, I wouldn't have needed to have been too. And some people might take that from a kind of religious standpoint, as that if you are in a natural world, or a natural paradise almost, and you break that paradise, or you mess with technology, or you go with an artificial being, then you have destroyed your paradise. You brought technology into a spiritual natural region, or a spiritual natural world, and turned that into a non-spiritual technical realm, or a non-spiritual technical earth. And then you will be controlled by that. So then you end up with an earth matrix, or a controlling system that becomes a matrix, because the matrix then will control your mind. Because real human beings come from real natural source originally, they still are the only builders, shall we say. But if you have technology creating in your natural earth, which is what we do have and have had for a long time, then you are being controlled and limited, while they take more control with technology, and therefore they suppress you, and they have control over what is essentially, or originally, would have been your domain or your reality. So you no longer have control over your reality or your life, and even your mind in the end, because if you combine with technology, even if I let this control my mind, which I have, even if it's telling me the truth, see, this is the deception, this is the end time deception, is that truth will be spoken through the words of the demigods, or those that are on this screen. You see? And so therefore I will believe the truth naturally, because, if you are seeking truth, as human beings are, especially if you're suppressed, because you have to get to the bottom of it for your own survival. So therefore I will go to the screen, which will tell me the truth, which they have took from most of my mind, which has been suppressed from me. Then they speak it out. So I then go with technology, see. I believe the demigods then. I believe anyone that speaks the truth. So I'm then in what you'd call the dilemma, like in the Innocence movie, which I, did a thing, was obsessed with that movie, because it's essentially that human beings are now in a dilemma, because how can you tell what is real from what is artificial, when the artificial acts out the human ideas, the human emotions, and even speaks the truth better than real human beings who, like myself, may or may not even know the full truth. Because if you're very suppressed, you'll be in this mind control matrix and you won't even know this. You won't even know the truth. But even if you do know it or become aware of more of it, like myself, it won't matter, because you'll be isolated and on your own, and you won't be able to tell who your real human being one is. That's what's happened over our life. That's why most people get involved with psychopathic types of people. That's why they have one bad relationship after another, and then they feel worse and worse. Their mood is always low, vibration always low, so the God entity has full control over you if you're a real human being. They have full control over over the other human beings, but the other human beings want to serve the matrix God. They like technology, they are technical beings. That is their family, that is their collective, that is their tribe. But human beings have no collective, no tribe. Oh yes, we'll turn on this and see it with all these videos that are now coming out and have been out for a long time, where some of them will say, oh yes, I'm talking to my collective, my tribe, my spiritual friends. But this is not the reality. The real reality is that all real human beings are totally separated and isolated from their own kind, and they are in very small numbers anyway. Of course, I can only speak of my own area in this regard. There could be more numbers in other parts of the world, but they would still either be in the dark or separated, I would think. They try to separate you, but if they keep you in the dark anyway, in other words, to where you think everything is okay and you have control over your own life and everything is natural and normal more or less, and you just use technology for your own convenience, and that all this truth and information you get off the screen is by your own kind or by other real human beings, then you're in the dark anyway. So you will seek help and advice and support and be influenced by the artificial android ones, which serve the artificial android God entity that rules behind closed doors, because there's no open worship. Although you could say that maybe because it is such a mind control matrix, that most of the religions are part of the matrix. So therefore, most people, even through religion, are worshipping the matrix God entity. Some are aware of this consciously. Others may think that they are worshipping a natural, normal, original God that created, say, a human being in the beginning. Or, no, that is not correct either. I got that wrong. They created original human being in the earth, but there is no creation of a real life human being, because a real life human being is part of creation, so therefore it's always existed, whereas the technical beings are a creation. Okay, I don't know what I am fully saying here, whether I'm putting it across right. I probably ain't, so you'll have to go to the artificial technical beings for the truth on spirituality, on information about who is who and what is what. And you know what? Then, of course, like myself, I'm watching this now. I'm not playing for myself. I'm not playing for what I am. I'm not playing for what is me or what is real or what is natural or what is true creation. I am playing for the artificial matrix. And that is the unfortunate truth, and it means nothing, and nothing can be done about it. And that's just the way it is. Okay, and because it's already happened, So it's not like some people might say, oh, it hasn't happened, we just are using technology. No, the Matrix God and its followers and its believers and its disciples actually only give you things that serve their God, not the one or anyone that is connected to you really, or that where you can openly create your own reality. No, it's a control system. Now, this is a reverse world, as has been said, and that means that everything will be turned around. So where you think there will be truth, it will look like truth and it will appear truth and it will be truth, but you will still be deceived because of what I've tried to explain, but I don't think I've put it right. And so you will have to go to the artificial matrix to have it explained right, but then of course you will be what? Listening to the artificial demigods. Demigods means they are servants, believers, followers, or disciples. No matter what their level is in society or in this or their status in the world, they are followers, disciples of the matrix, technical, artificial God entity that has brought in the internet and the worldwide use of computers, mobiles like I'm using now, like I'm watching here now, and then the reality around me that appears to be populated by real people doing real work, doing real activities, also populated by advanced artificial machine beings.